Yesterday when we were teaching law of cosines, remember if it's SAS, then you find the other side, and then you can just use law of sines, right? The same thing happens on this side right here. If it's SSS, we use law of cosines, and then I said you could do law of cosines again, or you could do law of sines. I want you to add in this little star right here. If you're not careful, when you do law of sines, you could accidentally choose two sides and an angle that create two triangles. Now, are there two triangles for SSS? No. But when you're doing law of sines, the law of sines does not know that you know the third side. So you might choose two sides, an opposite and adjacent, that creates two triangles, and it could give you the wrong answer. In first period, we had some people arguing over the answer to number 28. Because some of them are like, Miss, I did this, and this is what I got. And they showed me, and I'm like, your work's right. And then the other kid's like, I did this, I subtracted from 180, and this is what I got. And they were different answers. It's because the one guy had accidentally created two triangles with his SSA. So because of that, to avoid that, my advice is always, you know how we did right here, we just ended up choosing alphabetically A, B, and C? It ended up working out because we chose A and B. Well, don't you agree opposite is greater than the adjacent? So don't you agree we got one triangle with that? If we had accidentally chosen to do C first, which actually somebody in this class had said, hey, was it this class? It might have been 7th period. Somebody said, hey, I actually tried to do C first yesterday instead of doing B, and I got a different answer than you. It's because if they chose C, do y'all agree that C was an obtuse angle? When you do the inverse sine or the inverse cosine, it's going to give you that reference angle, which is always an acute angle. So what I would like you to do is to always go in order from the least to greatest if you have side. So we found A and it ended up working out. But from here on out, I want you to choose the smallest side, find that one first, then do the next smallest side. Does that make sense what I'm saying? This will help you avoid getting the wrong answer. If you don't want to do that, then you need to be doing law of cosines twice. You could, but who wants to do that? All right, so just be careful with that. So did everybody write that down on their notes? For SSS, solve from the smallest to the largest. You want to avoid SSA. All right? This was yesterday's page. I wrote that on. 23. All right. We are now, can I change this? We are now going to add to our table of contents. Please, everybody add page 24. And this is the last page of notes for this unit. So I'm going to draw a line right here. Page 24 is area of a triangle. Your test and assessment on Monday and Tuesday are over pages 20 through 24, plus pages 1 and 2. Remember right triangle, SOHCAHTOA? Remember how we came back from that break and we just did practice? I'll hand those back tomorrow so we can look over it.
Oh, there's going to be like normal SOHCAHTOA?
Yes, easy SOHCAHTOA. Well, yes. Can I change this? Area of a triangle, page 24. I know y'all are facing each other and it's very easy to talk. As you can tell, I've been doing this all day and my voice is hurting. So I'm only going to teach for like hopefully 10-15 minutes max. If y'all can, I'm going to try to do 10. If we can time. I should hopefully be done at about 1:01. Bear with me while I'm doing this so I don't have to yell over y'all. All right, area of a triangle. You've learned area of a triangle since 3rd grade. Does anybody remember that formula? 1/2 base times height. Okay? If it's a right triangle, your base is the bottom. Your height is the side with the 90-degree angle, the other leg. If it's not a right triangle, you can still do 1/2 base times height if you have the base and the height. It just isn't one of the sides. Y'all agree with that? I'm not going to do any examples like that because 3rd grade math. But you will have a question like that. Okay? Are we okay with that? And let's everybody box this formula. So this is if it's a right triangle, and this is if it's a oblique triangle. But what if you have an oblique triangle with no height? What if I have a triangle with just angles and sides? Like this. There are 2 different formulas that you learned in geometry. For some of you, it's been 3 years since you've taken geometry. So, the first one I'm going to teach you, we call the SAS formula. Area is still going to equal 1/2 your base, but I don't have a height. Am I going too fast? How did we find height of an oblique triangle? Say it louder. Adjacent sine of theta. Well, look at this triangle. What is, if this is my base, and I wanted to create the height, but I don't have it, what's the adjacent side here? C, sine of A. And I know this gets a little bit confusing. Somebody said last period, Miss Olivares, you have 2 capital A's. So I'm going to put area of a triangle so you'll know this A is talking about area. And this is your SAS formula. 1/2 BC sine of A. Or you would say the area of a triangle, so you could also write it, is 1/2 your base times your adjacent sine of your angle. I would be fine for you writing either of those for the formula. Write it down, please. Edwin, write this down on paper. That's if you're given a side angle side. Are we okay with that? Do we agree that this formula comes from this one up here? Right? Okay. Now, what if you're given SSS? SSS, you have to do something called Heron's formula. Does anybody remember learning Heron's formula in geometry? You definitely didn't learn it. If you're in L level, you didn't learn it in geometry. I hope they're okay. A of the triangle equals, make sure your square root goes over all of it or I'll count off. Anybody remember? S times S minus A, S minus B, and S minus C. What is S? What did you say? It does. I know. I'll go look in a second. What is S? Well, S is your perimeter divided by 2. A plus B plus C divided by 2.
Someone's like getting.
Hold on. You're supposed to say what line.
I just wanted to make sure it wasn't like...
I thought someone was like that.
Yeah, it sounded close. All right, so S is your perimeter divided by 2. Add all your sides, divide it by 2, and then you're just plugging in. Okay? So, a couple things about this. Can y'all see that color? Okay. We're going to do 2 examples. Most missed on here. What do people do that always make mistakes? They don't do cos. They forget the 1/2. If you don't forget the 1/2. That's a parallelogram, not a triangle. What's most missed on this one? I forgot to box it. They forget the first S. Everybody likes subtracting S from A, B, and C, but you forget that first S. Don't forget the first S. Alright, so here are your 2 examples. Let's do example 1. You are going to approach these exactly like we approach everything. What are we going to do first? Draw the picture. What are we going to do second?
Determine case type.
Determine the case type. So you're still going to do that for both of these. Alright? A equals 8 feet. B equals 6 feet. And C is 30 degrees. Please draw your picture. And what is my case type? Oh, in this one we'll say find the area. So this is SAS. So now I'm going to write the formula down. Again, I do not care which formula you use. You could either use this one so that it works for all of them, or you can put the letters in. Either one of these are acceptable for what you wrote as your formula. 1/2 AB sine of C, that's what you're given, or you could just write 1/2 base times adjacent sine of theta. I need to see the formula, I need to see you plug in, I need to see an answer. Those 3 things. Formula, plug it in, give me an answer. What's my base? What's my adjacent? And the sine of 30 degrees. Now you should know the sine of 30 degrees. 1/2. But are you always going to know whatever it is? No. So what can you use? Calculator. Make sure that you're in degree mode. Sine of 30 degrees is 1/2. What's half of 8? What's half of 6? 3 times 4 is? The area of this triangle is 12 feet squared, because it's area. What questions do I have? We good? Alright, how am I doing on time? Ooh, I got 1 minute. Alright, example 2, we might go a little past. Example 2 says A equals 4 inches, B equals 5 inches, C equals 7 inches. Find the area. What do I do first? Draw your triangle. And label the case type. What is the case type? What do I do first? Find the S. So remember, to find S, I'm going to do perimeter divided by 2. Or 4 plus 5 plus 7 divided by 2, which is 4. Now what do I need to do? Write Heron's formula. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. Make sure your square root sign goes through. Write the formula down. And plug in. You can do all these steps algebraically if you want. Or you can just put it in Desmos. It's up to you. If you wanted to go a step further and do this, I'm fine with that. I don't know where I wrote 6 from. As soon as I saw that, I knew it was a mistake. I was just going along with the numbers. But you don't need to do all that. You can just go ahead, put it in your calculator. And what is the area of this triangle? Go to the hundredths place. Inches squared. And that's it. What questions can I answer about either of these? Anything? All right, you have the rest of class to complete the homework. You must work on homework unless you turn it into me. Otherwise, I don't want to see anything except Desmos and the homework papers up on your screen. All right, I will be here to help if you need any help.